Yes, I'm doing one of these again. I'm doing a double feature review. I'm doing this because something happened with my dope review and I had to pull it from my channel and redo it. And I've been real busy, so I thought while I'm doing my TED review, I might as well just attach it to my dope review. You know, kill two birds with one stone. So let's get into it. Dope is about three high school kids who aren't really popular and are obsessed with 90s hip-hop culture. They have their own band in which they write their own original music. The main character of the group gets involved with the wrong people and has to do everything he can to get himself out of the situation, but at the same time, maintain his dignity. Now, I absolutely loved this film, and it's a fairly original film, and let alone it's one of the most original black films I've seen in a while. And I'll support anything that doesn't have Tyler Perry's name on it. And to me, this is probably the third best theater experience I've had all year. And this is also a great coming-of-age story of the modern day. Shamik Moore plays Malcolm. Now, he is a class act to be reckoned with, and I definitely can't wait to see what he does in the future. His friends are played by Tony Revolori and Kiersey Clemens. They were great in the film as well. The soundtrack as well as the film was produced by Pharrell and Diddy, and there were great song selections that helped apply the film and helped advance the story. The other thing I thought helped convey the film was the setting, which is Inglewood, California. The setting and the soundtrack alone gave the film personality. Now, I have never been to Inglewood, California, but people say that it captured Inglewood very well. Rapper A$AP Rocky is in the film. Now, I'm going to say about him what I say about most rappers that try to get into acting. They are essentially just playing themselves. And A$AP Rocky was no different. But at the same time, A$AP Rocky, he wasn't terrible in the film. He was fairly good in the film for what he had to portray. Zoe Kravitz is in the film, and this is the best I have ever seen her in a film. And shout out to Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet for making a beautiful daughter in Zoe Kravitz. Granted, I've always thought she was a beautiful person, but I'm just saying, this is the first movie I've seen her where I was like, dude, she's super hot. My favorite things about this film is how real the characters were. And I love how they say the three kids are nerds, but it's not the type of nerd you think they are. Because we live in a day and age where nerd could be different types of things. Like, these guys happen to be nerds of anything 90s. And they didn't push it on you that they are nerds by having them be severely bullied. The cinematography is also great in the film, and it seems like this film was from a first-time director, but it's not. It's directed by the guy that made The Wood, Brown Sugar, Talk to Me, and Our Family Wedding. And I can say this is probably his best film out of that filmography. Now, granted, there is nothing special or anything to go gaga over this film. There is some stuff that seemed pretty cliche, but they made up for it by taking directions I liked. Like, the film was going to go one way, but then it went another, and then the film went one way, but then it went another, and then the film went one way, but then it went another. It just kept going and going like that. And there were some points in the film where it got a little preachy, but by the end of the film, it felt like all the preaching is paid off, because by the end of the film, it did make a point, and that is that it doesn't matter where you come from. If you can apply yourself, you can achieve your goals and make it anywhere. In the end, Dope was a great film with great characters, a good story, good music, and great cinematography. And it was fun being with these characters throughout the film. And it's a great coming-of-age story for the modern day. This is definitely one of my favorite films of the year. So I'm going to give Dope an A- for full price. TED 2 is one of my most anticipated of the year. When I heard they were making a TED sequel, I was a little conflicted because I am a fan of some of Seth MacFarlane's work. I am a huge fan of Family Guy. The Cleveland Show, it was a hit or miss show. I do not like American Dad. I love the first Ted, and last year's A Million Ways to Die in the West was not that great of a film, nor was it really that funny. So going into TED 2, this could either be as good as Ted or as bad as A Million Ways to Die in the West. Now, Seth MacFarlane is someone who has a specific type of comedy, and either you're going to roll with it or you're just not going to roll with it. And he does do some of the same stuff, but I still find it funny. And until he becomes like Kevin Hart and Melissa McCarthy, and I get sick of it, I'm still gonna rock with it. In any case, TED 2 takes place sometime after the first film. Ted gets married and he wants to have a baby, but he has to get a sperm donor, but they won't let him. And then the government no longer sees him as a person, they see him as an object. So now Ted and Mark Wahlberg's character Johnny teams up with Amanda Seyfried's character to fight the man. Now, that's pretty much the plot of the movie. Now for the positives, and you pretty much saw it in Ted 1, there is no denying Mark Wahlberg and Seth MacFarlane, they have great chemistry, they work really well together, and even if you do not like these movies, you can at least agree, yeah, those two, they are great together in these movies. Amanda Seyfried in this movie was really good, and I can say, comedy-wise, this is the best I have seen her in it. And I knew she was a good dramatic actress, but comedic-wise, except for when she played Karen in Mean Girls, she hasn't really impressed me in any comedy-wise. But in this movie, I'd say she was pretty funny and she worked well with Mark Wahlberg and Seth MacFarlane in this film. Like, to me, this is one of those situations where I see her in this film and I start to look back on her career. And, like, I just saw her on Les Miserables, and now seeing her in Ted 2 is like, yeah, you've definitely come a long way from playing Karen in Mean Girls. This movie had some good giggling and chuckle-worthy moments in the film. To me, at least, this movie had a few good laugh-out-loud parts. Like, at the same time, it had some parts where it wasn't so funny because it was either just corny or lazy, or it's just that Seth MacFarlane humor that you either getting tired of or you just like, no. This is where my negatives come in. Like I said, this movie did have some sequel-itis because it had a few moments of laziness with their comedy and some of the jokes fell flat. That Seth MacFarlane humor that I said is in the movie and it's in there, some of it's funny, some of it is either offensive or just not funny at all. Like that one joke in the trailer where Amanda Seyfried's character asks who Samuel Jackson is and says like, have you like seen every movie ever? He's the black guy. And I just looked at that like, there's even certain plot points from the first movie that they brought into this film, and they even shoehorn a character in this film from the first film, and I look at it like, really? In the end, Ted 2 was a fun movie, and despite my negatives, this was still a funny movie, and I feel when it comes to comedies, and let alone comedy sequels, the best thing it can do is just make me laugh, and as long as the movie did that, I felt the movie did its job. If you're a Seth MacFarlane fan, you will like this movie. It's not as great as the first film, but at the same time, it ain't A Million Ways to Die in the West, so I'm gonna give Ted 2 a B- for I will buy it on DVD. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and have you seen these two movies? Have you seen them? Let me know in the comment section below. Tell me what you think of them. That's it for the day. If you like what you see, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my other channel. The links are in the description below. And be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Periscope, and Movie Pilot. Peace.